Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. This is Freddie Vasquez. Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today I want to talk about Fernbrook Street and the Ludlow project. What's so controversial about it? Join me. Good afternoon, Yonkers. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Saturday. September 24th, 2022. Let's talk about Fern Street. And why is it so controversial? Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I wanted that other light off. I wanted to talk about Fern Street. What's going on, Larry? How you doing? Melvin and the Ludlow project. It's I think that's something, going on there. But anyway, I want to talk about it. I was there yesterday. I was filming live. It's a facility manager for All County Bus, which they have their depot out there, came out and asked me if I needed some help. But no, it was good. I didn't need any help. I want to show you a picture of the area as we speak about the building specifically in question, 132 Fern Street, which was spoken about in the Mike Cater investigation. The allegations are that this is a Spano-owned property, 132 Fernbrook, over at the end of Ludlow. And that they are, seeking to, or they will be benefiting once this rezoning happens. And so, I guess they, that's not a good look. Like I said, I guess is what it's saying for the mayor and his family, because the mayor owned this. But I don't know. They're saying it was recently bought, but I don't think it was recently purchased. I do believe it's owned by a Spano family member. I'm not 100% sure. I think I did see it, but even still, I want to know, is there an issue? Do you guys think there's an issue with this? And they're saying that, they knew that this was going to happen. So they got this property in order to benefit once the developers came into town to want to start buying it up. And the reason why they want to redevelop is because they want to benefit financially from this, right? If they rezone that area and allow Ginsburg, the developers that want to do a lot of stuff there, move forward with their plans, then they will benefit financially. However, sources who are close to the administration and Spano family are saying that the building is not in that plan. All right. And let's take a look at the plan. It's not in the rezoning plan, which I actually should have had up already. It's outside of it. I want to show you this. This is actually interesting. See if you can see that here. This is an overview of that area. And so Fernbrook is over here. I don't know if you can see my my arrow there. Let me try to see if I can enlarge this. Fernbrook is right here. This is the property. And then right across, this is the All County bus depot also that is owned by an individual that's close to the Spano family, I guess a Spano family friend. But they're saying that this property here, which is alleged owned by Lenny Spano, I believe, and possibly Nick Spano, is not in the rezoning plan, right? It's not a part of it. However, they will still benefit, right? They still will benefit if the zoning changes are made. But the other issue is who paid for the studies to happen, right? Because initially this was Ginsburg's plan. They wanted to do this. They put out a proposal to rezone the area, but then it became a municipal proposal. And that shifted the cost, responsibility for the cost, over to the taxpayers, to the tune of $500,000 for environmental studies, traffic studies, impact to schools, other things like that. And so why are the taxpayers paying for it if this is something that the developers are looking for, right? And the mayor and having family members who own property there, utilizing the taxpayers to help this process move forward, so they then could benefit is the, allegation is what they're saying is not okay, right? So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the fact that I'm for the people, right? So I don't like the fact that the taxpayers are paying $500,000. Why isn't Ginsburg paying for the study? It's only $500,000, Ginsburg. That's pocket change to you guys, right? But I do get what they're saying, that even though it's not in the rezoning, that building, it's still going to benefit, no doubt about it. And it's not going to stay like that, right? Eventually, that's going to be sold as well to some, to develop maybe Ginsburg, and they're going to develop that because they're not just going to leave that building there. And another thing I noticed that in the lawsuit, it says that that's an industrial area and that it would impact jobs, having businesses closed down, as we've been seeing, forced closing of businesses. So I was down there and there's a lot of activity. I didn't even realize how much activity is going on there. There are several businesses. I'm not sure what they do. Obviously, you see the county bus. You have the water waste management facility. I'm going to show that picture again. Water waste management facility, this whole thing over here. I don't know if you can see the arrow down here, right? So there's people working, and Domino Sugar is the largest employer in the city of Yonkers. So that's jobs. We need that. We don't need luxury apartments. We need jobs and affordable apartments, unless these jobs are going to pay a lot of money and we could pay for luxury apartments, then let's do it, right? But we definitely need the jobs. And if Domino Sugar is one of the largest employers here in the city of Yonkers, then they need to get some respect put on their name. You know what I mean? Domino Sugar should have more say. And they are concerned with the traffic and the impact it will have on their tractor trailers coming in and out, which while I was there for maybe 20 minutes, there was a lot of activities with tractor trailers. And there's just a lot of people there. So I never realized that, right? So, I don't know. I mean, the people who own homes here, look, this is a sunny side area. I used to walk through here to go to, they're going to have, I don't know if they had any views or whatever, but they're going to have these big buildings in front of their homes. I don't know how they feel about that. If anybody's on here from that side, that part, how do you feel about that? Eileen O'Connor, are you anywhere around? Eileen, how do you feel about these big buildings being right in front of you? There's going to be a lot of traffic. Now, where is this traffic going to go? Well, obviously, it would have to go along, Fernbrook over this Ludlow bridge. Can't go through here, through the houses, right? Then you have nothing. It's a dead end over here. It's a train station. Actually, it stops over here. Actually, I'm going along the track. So it stops over here. So where is this traffic going to go? And I wondered that. How is the traffic? It's going to be a big, huge impact, this traffic, right? So I would imagine the people that own homes there are upset. And sure, you figure, well, I'll move. I'll sell my house. I maybe get more money. So I guess you can look at it that way because that is the silver lining. But it's going to be crazy down there. And so that's the big controversy with this Fernbrook area. The fact that the mayor's brother owns 132, allegedly. And I think that may be true. And they're going to stand to benefit. And the fact that they shifted over the cost of the studies to the taxpayers, $500,000. And the only ones that will benefit are the developers. They're building luxury developments. And yes, there's going to be parkland. They are talking about, the mayor spoke about this. I believe it's going to be the bus depot. They're going to turn that into a park. But I guess it's going to be like the Riverside, right? They got the sanitation thing, and they have the park over there. I think over the sanitation, whatever that is, along the West Side Highway. I mean, but it's starting to become obvious to me why we're turning into like the mini Manhattan, because these developers came from Manhattan. They had the relationships back with James Kavanaugh and Wilson Kimball, people who are heavily involved in rezoning, changing zoning laws, and awarding contractors tax incentives. I got my good sources. Very good. Jimmy. Very good, Jimmy. So that's the big issue. I think for me, the only thing I have an issue with is the $500,000 that the taxpayers will be spending. I mean, we need to get stuff from the developers. We shouldn't be giving them anything. They should be paying for that and a whole lot more. Now, as far as the Spanos benefiting from that, from what I found, I think they had that building was bought a while back, a long time ago. So, I don't know if it's, anything, maybe, I don't know, maybe, but even still, like, right. And I was thinking about this. I said this to my wife. I said, honey, if I had a big family, right now I was the mayor, right? And my family members were out and about in the city doing business deals. I mean, it would be hard, right? You can't expect your family members not to do smart business moves, right? I mean, they're their own individual person and benefit from that. That's what we all trying to do. We all trying to do that, right? So I'm trying to, like, because I like to be fair. I do. I like to be fair. So I'm trying to find, where's the real issue there for me, other than the 500,000 that the city will pay. Here's what I think is the real thing we should be talking about when it comes to this area here is the Leakin Watts property over here. Do you see this? This is where they are going to build the new, or it's already built. I don't know. I guess they're going to repurpose these buildings, and they're going to put the new school, the Magnet High School for film. It's going to be a partnership between Lionsgate, Syracuse University, and the city of Yonkers. And this is where it's going to be located here. So imagine the traffic from that, the traffic from all the developments here. It's going to be very congested. That's all I got to say. It's going to be very congested. That's going to be super negative. But I'm wondering, however, is this going to mostly be like apartments here, residentials, a little park, yeah, whatever, but all for the studio, movie people, and Syracuse college students, right? Because college students need somewhere to stay. And when I started out in college, I was out in Florida, and my wife and I, we lived in these apartment complex that was strictly dedicated or for the college students, right? It was called Campus Lodge, but they were dope apartments. I mean, like, they were like the apartments they're building now. Pool and workout rooms and all these crazy amenities, right? Free Wi-Fi and all that stuff, right? Gated and everything, had a guard. And so it was all for college students because they needed, obviously, to house the kids that went to Florida State. They had a family, FAMU, Florida A&M. They had then they had the city college, what you call it, the community college, where some kids would go to, like me, who didn't get the best of grades right away, and you got to, transition. So a lot of kids there. So I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen here, and that's what a lot of these apartments are going to be for college students. Syracuse is very expensive. It's an expensive film school, and most people that go to film school are people that come in for money, right? Because they get connected. I graduated with a guy who was a senior level executive producer of at Marvel Studios, and he actually produced the Captain America series and a few other the Marvel movies. He was the producer on it. I went to knew this guy, so I thought that was pretty cool. Well, that's what you get when you go to a school like the one I graduated, a public high school like the one I graduated from, right? Where you have all this stuff, and that's what people become. They go on to do big things, right? I like to think I'm doing big things, right? Basement politics, baby. But that's what I think is going to be. So again, they're building studio 1 and 2 bedrooms. So it's not really family oriented. And one of the concerns that they had about this Ludlow project was the impact to the schools. But they said, the response was, well, we don't think it's going to have much impact to the schools because the population of people who will need, families who will need that, especially those that go to the Yonkers public schools, is dwindling because they're no longer able to afford to live in Yonkers. And they know that as they build more and more of these luxury developments, right? 75% of student body living at or below the poverty line. That means that their parents cannot afford to live in these luxury rentals. There are more and more of them going up. So they're eventually going to have to move as their rents go up, because rents are going up everywhere, even in the poorest neighborhoods here in the city of Yonkers. It's just a natural progression, right? And that's what's going to happen. So are they anticipating that families will move who cannot afford to live here anymore, shrinking down the school district? Again, it's only studio 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. So that's what I think that area is going to happen. It's going to be mostly college students from Syracuse. If that plan goes through, you're going to have the Magnet High School there. That's going to be for 300 to 600 students. But I don't understand, why didn't the city take that land? Why did they allow Joe Carter to buy that up? And then or I should say the city, Yonkers Public School, then sign a 20-year lease agreement rather than taking the property, building a massive school there, I'd say one for 2,000 high school students, and then renting out the area for studios or whatever you want to build there to Lionsgate and Syracuse. And then they pay us the rent and we make money that way, the city, while we have a nice facility for a lot more of our students to go to, because a lot of kids are going to want to go to that film school. And if you 300, it's not going to be enough. 6, better than 3, but not better than 2,000, right? And that's not impossible. My high school had 2,000 kids. It was very well thought out, right? So I think that's what they should have done. I don't like these deals that are happening. It's like with Chicken Island. They sold it and now they're leasing it for the parking lot. But why did you sell it? I get it. AMS wants to do something there. Well, wait till AMS is ready to actually start building, so we're not paying rent for so many years. That didn't make sense, right? And so many years of paying rent. That time, the property value could even appreciate it more, thus selling it for a higher price. But that's they don't care. When you're not playing with your money, it doesn't matter. Remember that. It's a great game, right? Politics is a great game. You don't play with your money, but when you get money, it becomes yours. That's dope. I got to get into that business. That is dope. Folks, anyway, that's the Fern Street thing. It's the issue with that 123. It's owned by a Spano family member. The rezoning of that area is going to allow for residential high rises to 5-story. They wanted 6 initially, but they dropped it to 5. So people are saying, well, the Spanos are, that's why they pushed for the rezoning, and then the city council took lead agency on it. So that way it would shift the cost of the studies onto the taxpayers rather than the developers, because they are major contributors. Ginsburg are major contributors to a lot of elected officials, major contributors. And so was that a favor? Hey, we'll shift the cost over, because remember, again, they're not playing with their money, so it doesn't matter. We'll shift the cost over to the taxpayers as a favor to you. Just make sure that you come out and donate to our candidates and the Committee for a Better Yonkers, Ginsburg. Make sure you donate to them especially. Okay? Don't forget them. And so that's what I have an issue with. Why was that done? Let's get our money back. Let them do the study. And we all know that's farce. I mean, the city council really taking lead. They can't take lead on anything. Really. I mean, come on. What they know about studies for environmental studies, traffic, how they can read that and understand it? You think so? Come on. I mean, they've proven themselves already to be deficient in that area. So that's all BS, and that's my issue with that. But you can have your issues, outside of that if you like. Again, I put the information on is your opinion. I mean, it's your business to make an opinion. That's your right, I should say. And so I don't know if I left anything out. I know there was other things that people have mentioned to me about it, but I want to talk about I don't want to get sidetracked with things that are not really, what truly matters to the people, right? Because then, we get into the other areas of I guess personal stuff and maybe gossip or whatever. And this is not just saying in general. That's why, for me, that's what I think the people should most get out of it, is that why are the taxpayers footing the bill for that study? Is that something that's done? I reached out to my sources, close to City Hall. They said it's not unusual. However, others said it's never happened before. I have to just look to verify that. But I do know that the city council has taken lead agency on other projects, which I always wondered why. I mean, you guys are always distributing food. I mean, how do you have time to go over that stuff, right? So I don't know. So, and they're even capable of doing it. So that's my only thing. But yes, possibly Lenny Spano owns that building, which is nothing wrong with that. But did they know something was going to happen and they look to benefit? Whether or not it's in the rezoning plan, they're still going to benefit financially. It's going to appreciate in value, and they're going to have to sell it, because, I mean, you're not going to leave that type of building there when you got now these luxury developments going up around it, right? So let's just, that's obviously going to happen. And so you're going to make some money there. But is that a crime? Is that wrong? Right? I mean, if your brother is making smart business moves, should the mayor be faulted? I mean, I don't know. The ethics violations there. I don't know. You guys tell me. That's what I'm saying. So that's one of the things I think they're mentioning in terms of, with the Spanos and the All County Bus Depot, which I think was purchased recently, or maybe not. No, actually, I think that was 20 years the guys had it for, right? So I don't know. Listen, insider information, right? It's kind of, if the Spanos just recently bought it, then yeah, I could say that's kind of insider information type of thing. You're making money that way. But I think a lot of people would, kind of maybe, I don't know, if you know that, I guess maybe if you talked about it at a family dinner, right? And your brother says, "Oh, I heard that building's for sale. Let me see if I can go get that." Right? How do you stop that? Right? So I don't know, but if they just recently bought it in a year, but from what I found, my research, it looked like it was purchased actually a long time ago. So I don't know. So you guys make up your opinion. I want to move on. That's the Fern Street thing. That's the whole deal right there. If you just come in on, right? Again, they're making a studio, school, high school, magnet film, whatever. This is Fern Street. This is the building here. Here in question. Right? And this whole area will be rezoned. And so, yeah, if Hispano may own this, they're going to benefit. So, you have to make a decision when it comes time to vote or for the term eliminations, which I read the Yonkers Times article. He's pushing it, boy. Dan, you are pushing it, aren't you? Because you're writing this article and it's baloney. It's baloney, Dan. I'm going to call you out. And you can call me out anytime. And you can call me up, right? You have before. We spoke. You like what I was doing. I like what you're doing too, I think. But you are writing baloney stuff. That rally, Dan, do an investigation into who posted that flyer. Who created this rally? The rally to stop the term elimination that was supposed to happen is September 13th. Dan Murphy of the Yonkers Times, the official news publication of the city of Yonkers, is citing the no-show, right? A no-show rally as, as proof that the people want to eliminate terms and want to see the mayor continue. Is that true? Is that a fact? Is that what that means? I don't think so. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that we can't use it, Dan. We cannot use that bogus rally to gauge whether or not the people, want to see terms eliminated. We can't, because it was a bogus rally, and it looks like it was created to purposely do exactly what you're doing now, right? You look like you're colluding with them. Were you a part of it, Dan? Did you know that this flyer was going to come out? And then once no one showed up, because people reached out to me, okay, not just the usual. So I know that's you, but no, a lot of people were chattering, saying, "Who is doing this? I don't know if I'm going to go. This looks like a setup." Some people thought it was going to be one of those January 6th setups, right? You go to City Hall and they're going to arrest you and charge you all crazy stuff for trespassing onto government property or something. People were saying that. So they were scared. They didn't even want to go. There was no one taking credit for it, right? So that's why no one showed up. So now Dan Murphy is saying, "Oh, because no one showed up, this means that they want terms eliminated and they want Mike Spano to continue doing." But I don't know if that's true. And I'm not that I'm saying anything negative about the mayor, but I'm just saying, how is it that people are okay with luxury buildings popping up, right? I don't know. People are complaining about finding affordable housing. People are complaining about it being too expensive to live in Yonkers. People are complaining about the potholes. People are complaining about the schools and the poor condition. So people are complaining. And they're doing so more now as they're seeing businesses being forced closed for luxury developers and movie studio people. Something that's not going to benefit the majority of the people in the city of Yonkers. So why would they want to see something that's ultimately going to be negative for them? At the very least, if they stay in Yonkers, they're probably going to pay more for whatever they're living and everything else. Right? So is that true? Is that true? And so Dan Murphy is really pushing that narrative that people didn't come out because they want to see terms eliminated. I don't know if that's true. And I think those who do, support keeping term limits, because there are people out there, I recommend that you guys organize, if that's what you believe in, and create a real rally. Let's see when people feel like, okay, this is real. There's people behind it. They're showing their face. They're encouraging people to come out. We know who it is. So we're going to go. And then let's see. Now, if no one shows up to that, then I'll run with you, Dan. Then I'll run with you on your theory. I don't even want to call it theory because it's not even a theory. It's baloney. It's just a bologna sandwich with no cheese. You know what I mean? Bologna and no cheese sandwich. Moving on real quick before I get up out of here. Seda Jerris. Remember her? I Seda, your husband wants to talk about my wife. He's making his minions talk about my wife, Seda. So if you listen to this or somebody says, hey, Seda, Freddie spoke about you on Basement Politics again, listen to this. Listen. Go to Zehi and say, Zehi, papi, mira, stop talking about his wife. I mean, he came to my job. You know I'm not really supposed to be a supervisor. Please. All right? Tell him that. Just like that. You guys lay next to each other in bed. That's what you do. I know my podcast is making impact because she was moved from the recycling center. Seda Jerris now can be found over at Shade Tree, which I thought was a private business. But apparently that's the department of the city of Yonkers, DPW, that cuts the trees, the tree trimmers. Why was she moved? Because she was not supposed to be a supervisor. She failed the test 2 times. Not once, twice. I mean, I hear the test gives you 20 points just for getting your name right. So they had to move her because they couldn't leave her there. Freddie put it out there. That's not okay. And a lot of people sent me messages actually telling me where she was that day when I was looking for her, because I hear that a lot of people within the city of Yonkers, employees, don't like you, Seda. And more importantly, they don't like the fact that you're able to get $100,000, $130,000 a year job, and you're not even qualified, and you can't pass the test. Yet you were still put to be supervisor over these people who probably could pass the test, who've been there longer, who are qualified, experienced, and should be supervisor. But your husband makes things happen. And so people don't like that. And so that's why I got a phone call, several actually. I got 3 phone calls about where you actually located, a text message, and 2 Facebook messages. One of the phone calls had a person using a voice distorter. That's right. They had one of those things, I said, yo, this is like a movie. And that's how I found you. I didn't see the messages till after. It was the voice distorted person that led me to you, Seda, because people are tired of it. And so, please, tell your husband, don't mess with Freddie's wife. I mean, she's not doing anything. She's got nothing to do. And besides, she actually passes her test. She's qualified. Okay? And just keep it to the Warriors. I'm cool with you coming at me, Zehi. I've handled those, moves you made. Remember? A couple of times I had people come through. I handled that. So keep it to that, right? Otherwise, I'll keep exposing your wife and you. And I'm getting good information from good sources. So you got to chill, homie. Chill, homie. So now Seda's at Shade Tree. I hear she's in at the booth there. So you can find her at Shade Tree sitting at the booth because her husband decided to mess with Freddie Vasquez of Basement Politics, Unfiltered. Thank you for watching, folks. We make an impact here. That's why it's important for you guys to show your support, share the podcast, and people are talking about it, man, for real. Like, it's crazy how much it's grown even in a short amount of time. And recently, it's grown a lot. And more people are talking about it. So I appreciate the support. Come, to me with any information. I do got to mention this. I was at Arby's today. Okay, I was at Arby's getting my sliders and milkshake. And a woman that works there, damn, I shouldn't have said that, but it's not really her. She was telling me about somebody she knows, a friend that sent her pictures of her apartment that is just in bad condition. And so she was happy that she started talking to me, and she sent me the picture. So I posted them up. This is not the first time I've had people reach out to me in regards to West Hive apartments and the conditions that they're in. I visited one lady who had mold. Obviously, there was a flood in her apartment. The wood floors were warped. They were squeaking. You can see areas that had mold where they just painted over the mold. I deal with mold and stuff all the time. It's not how you do it. And I'm sure they weren't certified to deal with mold. So that's what they do, patchwork, but shoddy patchwork at that. And so the problem is this. You have tenants living in unhealthy, unsafe apartments and just in inhumane, right? Rich, all that money you got, I know you ain't living like that. Inhumane conditions. And then what happens is Macy, Municipal Housing Authority of Yonkers, that gives the vouchers for people who stay in them, stops making the rent, stops paying their portion, right? Okay, because the apartment is in bad condition. They don't make them like fix it. They just say, we're not going to pay, right? So now you have people who rely on that portion of the rent to be paid now going into debt because they can't afford to pay that portion. So now they're behind and in arrears on their rent for thousands of dollars. And guess what's next? They kick them out. They're not paying their rent. Well, Macy won't pay unless you guys fix up the apartment. And now they're saying, well, we're not going to fix up the apartment until Macy pays. You see? And all that's done to force you up out of here, because that's the ultimate goal. Because guess what? Eventually down the line, all those buildings that West Hab is putting up, well, not all, but a lot of them will go market rate. And then they will fix them up. And then they will jack up the rent. And you will no longer be here. I'm Freddy Vasquez, looking out for you. Send me all your pictures of your apartments in horrible condition, especially those living in West Hab, because Rich Nightingale lives very well. Big mansion, I'm sure. Married to a black woman. I don't know if that makes much of a difference for me. I am too. Doesn't mean much. Just means you found someone you love that has a darker skin color. Tall. Doesn't mean you're a good person. Doesn't mean you're for the people. Come on, Rich. You inherited this business. I mean, came easy. These people are living hard. Rich Nightingale. Enjoy your holiday. See you Tuesday. I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Thank you, folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out. I am Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. That was your quick afternoon episode. Fern Street. Is the mayor being connected to a property there through his brother who owns it, committing a crime or violating any ethics rules? He does stand to benefit when the rezoning happens, because it will. They're going to move forward. Is that not okay? Ginsburg, the developers that will be developing that area, are huge contributors to many of the elected officials here in the city of Yonkers. Should the city of Yonkers be paying for the study or studies that will ultimately benefit Ginsburg and the mayor's family, perhaps? And Seda, have a conversation with hubby, okay? Do me a favor, girl. Come on, let's keep it. I mean, West Hab, Richie, come on. Come on, Richie. Fix those apartments up. Come on, Dick. Fix them up. All right? I'm going to be on it. I want all the pictures. West Hab, because they keep getting money and they keep getting these buildings deals and property deals and stuff. And they're continuing to move forward. And they're getting all these subsidies. And they're putting people in debt and in situations that they can't get out of. It's not cool, Richie. It's not cool. I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Keeping them honest. In an unhonest world. Richie Rich, enjoy your holiday, brother. I'll see you when you get back on Tuesday. Did your wife convert, by the way? She had to, right?
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vasquez.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vasquez.
Hey, Rich, she's African American too. But she assures too that people who are in need get the help that they deserve and have a right to. Housing is a right. Safe and healthy living conditions is a right. Affordable housing is a right. Luxury housing is a privilege. I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics.